Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the No Laying Up podcast. Solly here. He thinks he's still on a ski trip, it looks like, because he's got the toque on tonight. TC is back from Montana. Hello, TC.
Hello, Solly. Good to be back. Got my winter beard going, although it's quite nice here in Jax.
It has been quite nice. So it's quite nice in Brooklyn as well, because I saw somebody making some golf swings up on the roof. Neil Schuster.
Getting the itch. It's Vidante's world, gentlemen. I'm just living in it. Good to be with you.
Vidanta.
It's Vidanta's world.
Did not get through the intro without a mispronunciation.
Let's go.
We have some winners from around the world. Brian Campbell wins in a wild playoff over Aldrich Potgieter. We're going to get to that here shortly. Jacques Kruijswijk wins the Magical Kenya Open. I know, TC, you were following that extremely closely, I'm sure. Can't believe you were traveling during Magical Kenya Open week.
National Open. TC's on the road. He's on vacation.
Two National Opens this year, or this week.
Friend of the pod, Angel Yin, wins the Honda LPGA in Thailand. And of course, as we mentioned, Brian Campbell, your winner in Mexico, he trusted his Titleist Pro V1X golf ball to his first victory on the PGA Tour. He led the field with more than 12.2 strokes gained tee to green, almost all of them, 11.3 of those, coming with the Pro V1X on approach shots and around the green. That ended up being the difference in the tournament as well. Not to mention the final 68-yard wedge to 4 feet to set up the playoff winning birdie. Campbell was among 77% of the players who teed up a Pro V1 or Pro V1X in Mexico, more than 7 times the nearest competitor. Also included playoff runner-up Aldrich Potgieter, who put his new 2025 Pro V1X golf ball in play for the first time this week. Both new 2025 Pro V1 and Pro V1X golf balls are now available in golf shops worldwide. Each new model designed to give golfers more of what they ask for: more speed off the tee, more control with the irons, and more spin with the wedges.
That tee to green doesn't even count the playoff.
I was going to say, man, that's an interesting stat. He must have been hitting every fairway because he's getting out driven by like 90 yards and then he bounces off a tree. Unbelievable.
Full disclosure, we were like all week planning like, hey, we are not going to start the show tonight with the Mexico Open. Like, we could do some fun things with it. We do have a fun show on hand here. We're going to do some Master stuff, some Ryder Cup stuff, all of that. But it was an electric playoff of some kind, I guess. It was a very.
I got it for it. It was a bad action movie, which I'm a huge fan of. It was Land of Bad. It was Con Air. It was like, oh my God, that's not
that's
believable.
A good action movie.
It was, you know what I'm saying though, TC? Just kind of like, what, the plot's all over the place, and then the ball's kicking out of the trees. TC, I want to read your post earlier. I was cackling on my couch. This playoff feels like watching the shootout at the end of a member guest. Benjamin Salinas hosting the Vidante World Jamboree, and they're unable to get everyone around 18 green under control. Hot Carls, squirters, barkies. It's so sick. That kind of summed it all up for me. It felt like a member guest. It was great.
You got the gondola in the background.
Yeah, you got the hot air balloons. It felt like kind of a metaverse, maybe. Like, is this real? I don't know if this is real. Vidanta World, big sign, unbelievable stuff.
My takeaway all week was like the Mexico Open's not weird enough. Like, it's too, if you're going to go to an exotic location, it just needs to be way less resorty and weirder. And then it got really weird. What would you have think the odds would have been if somebody would come up and said, hey, somebody on a playoff, one of these two guys is going to hit it 35 yards out of bounds and it's going to hit a tree and kick back into play? The guy with 161 ball speed, I would not have bet would have gotten a lot of money on that one.
Honestly, Solly, that's the kind of thing that would have happened at Chapultepec.
Exactly.
And I missed that place dearly. You had a great idea on our Slack. You said the Masters should not grant a spot to Brian Campbell. They should grant a spot to whoever wins Live Chapultepec as an olive branch of sorts. Like, I think they had one Grupo Salinas commercial per commercial break, which was epic. The course doesn't quite do it for me. It wants to be interesting with some short grass around the greens, but there's nothing going on the greens. Like, there's no slopes. Makes me appreciate Black Desert even more. Black Desert needs to become like a regular season event, I think. But yeah, just an all-time, like, not just the playoff, the last 2 or 3 hours of play, there was just some all-time bad golf going on.
It was like
Potgieter's, like, the chipping. That's a problem. It's a big, and then the shot that he hit, was that the last one in regulation? where
That was the first playoff hole.
First
in the
playoff
middle
hole?
of the fairway, yeah.
From
He was in the middle of-
225.
If you weren't watching,
Sign me up.
hey, let's
Yeah.
assume not everybody listening to this pod was watching the golf today, but he
Oh.
was in the middle of the fairway, bombed it. He had mid-iron in, and I guess I didn't have the sound on, but I guess he was calling it a mud ball, and the broadcast kind of let him down there. They didn't really illustrate the mud on the ball, I guess. It flips it way long left, like a duck hook mid-iron of sorts into that. We're going to give Brian Campbell his props here at a certain point, I promise. But it was like, I guess it was going to kind of break my heart a little bit to watch somebody like Potgieter, who is a British Am champ, won on the Corn Ferry Tour, got his card, an extremely young player, but to just bypass like very clear holes in his game, if you watch this tournament at all over this past week, and have it all covered up by 194 mile an hour ball speed was going to make me pretty sad, honestly.
I mean, go look at the data golf profiles for both these guys. It's unbelievable. I mean, Potgieter's off the charts, and he's like inverted on around strokes gained around the green. It's incredible. I've never seen a skill profile like that. It's unbelievable.
It might
And
be
it was
the
like
PSI
the best thing they had. You turn it on this afternoon. You're like, oh my God, I don't like Aaron Rye, Jaeger. You're just like, damn, this is going to be, I'm going to war. I'm punching in, baby. Okay. Let's lock in. Okay.
Right through this.
TC wasn't even going to be on the show this week, and he's like, I want to talk golf this week. I'm like, damn.
Well, that's because he's been rejuvenated from the mountain air. But it was like the perfect scenario for Grupo Salinas. You had like two NPC guys on opposite ends of the skill spectrum. Like if you're a casual fan, who the fuck is Potgieter?
He played well. He played well.
Now I know, like, yeah, he's a young, like he's gonna be a stud.
He's got a promising future.
But like, if you're, if you don't watch golf regularly, you're like, and then Brian Campbell, like, truly, like, could be any player in like PGA Tour 2K20.
I know the answer to this, and I'm in the same boat as you, Neil. But honestly, TC, prior to this week, did you know who Brian Campbell was? Like, honestly,
vaguely, yeah, just because
I saw B Campbell and I was like, dude, I thought he went to
Ben
live.
Campbell.
Ben Campbell.
No, I did not. Hand up. Didn't know who he was.
Neil, didn't ask because I did not think that you did. Okay, just with all due respect.
And I'd be happy to tell you I didn't. I mean, I'm totally comfortable with that.
I think the thing with Potgieter, it's incredible that he has such a strength with that ball speed that it covers up, like that it's able to cover up so many other things.
That's
and then, like, he's hitting
point.
driver off the deck everywhere. He took out his 3-wood today, so he's hitting 4-iron from like 250. I mean, it was crazy.
He was number one in strokes gained, tee to green this week, only 32nd off the tee, but he hit 44 or 54 fairways. Now, again, this is a resort course with wide fairways, and a lot of people.
Which I want to go back. That resort, that looks like a resort course I'd like to play. It looks like a fun course for mere mortals.
We can set you up with some of the timeshare folks down at Vidanta.
No, it looks inviting. It looks like if I was on vacation, it's like, yeah, that would be a great place to play with my buddies.
Oh, sorry, hand up. I was looking at Campbell's stats. He did not hit 44 or 54 fairways. He had 29 of 53. So that's my bad. I don't know how he got to play one less fairway than Campbell. Maybe that counts the playoff or something. But he was third in strokes gained off the tee. Excuse me. But yeah, see my point though of like it's already trending this way. It's already gone. Like the game is going this way, and there's no stopping it. But that was just going to be tough to be able to.
Well, you see it like everybody's been saying, oh, you should see these young kids coming up. It's like, well, here's one of them, 20 years old. I mean, a strapping young lad, get this kid in the gym and who knows, right? Like he's, he could lose a couple LBs, but he's just prolific off the tee.
God, Neil, you're going to body shame him?
No, I mean, it's a little like he could tighten it up a little bit. Let's be honest.
Legally, I can't say tighten.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think that, like, on the flip side, it was so refreshing to see absolute foul balls like down the stretch from everybody, not just in the playoff. I mean, I just want to see the ball spin again. I want to see dispersion. Like, it was so depressing. Alex Smalley, I think, who's playing great golf, last month or so, he was trying to bend one with a 3-wood around like a stand of trees, and he just couldn't get it to bend. It's like, I just want to see guys be able to work the ball again, and see miss hits get punished as well.
Well, now mishits get bounded back into play. We haven't spent enough time on that to say this tournament was over. Brian Campbell hit it off the planet with 164 ball speed, OB right. When you have the world to the left, by
Which
the way.
NBC refused to acknowledge that.
Well,
Like, some
Jaeger
of the
did it. He took
worst,
that line off of 18.
some of the worst commentary I've heard in recent memory today. It's just Noda, man. Just, you're not adding anything. Just come on. I need more Kurt Byram.
Or Bones. Just give me more. I mean,
Yeah.
let's just,
Yeah.
you could
Just
give
tighten
me-
it up.
But just Bones, like, get rid of the booth and have him just out on the course calling it. It's great.
But it hits off the trees well right of the car path, hits the car path, bounces back into play, hits a fairway wood to get within 68 yards of the green, and then absolutely stuffed it from there. Potgieter had some nice comments afterwards, like, yeah, when I saw he got the bounce, like, I know how good his wedge game was, and I knew I still probably needed to make 4 to survive, and he didn't end up doing it. So
It's the rub of the green.
187 career starts for Brian Campbell, both in Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour. He did have his card in 2017, but lost it and has not been back since then. I did the math. His career earnings were something like 1.47 million career going into this. That's less than $8,000 per start over the course of a almost decade-long career, and made $1.2 million this week. These are the stories that are going away, TC. They're changing all the rules, and we're never going to get these stories anymore.
You know what? Based on the play the last 3 hours of that broadcast, I'm okay with a few less of those. I will say the two guys that didn't kind of completely gag it coming in were Isaiah Salinda. Played great golf last few hours, played a great final round, shot 65, and then Joel Damon 65 on the weekend, and a couple more putts drop, he could have gotten into contention there, but he finishes T6. So I picked the wrong Højgaard too. I had Rasmus to win this event. Nikolai finished solo 8th. So we may get to some Højgaards later on in the show.
I think we will. Aaron Rai cracks me up, man. I watch him play golf, and I'm trying to learn how he does it this successfully, and I don't think I fully understand it. I really don't. It's not excelling really in any one part, but he just climbs leaderboards in these mule events. It's ridiculous. And I don't know. I just don't know what his skill level actually is, right? He doesn't really do much in any event of import, but if it once it goes down a tier, Aaron Rai is in the mix.
I was thinking about that today, Solly. My take there is he's like the ultimate mechanic. I feel like he excels at discipline. I look at him, I'm like, he controls maniacally everything that he can control, like his putting routine, the way he dresses the ball, even his follow through. He's rock solid. His balance is, really, really good. I feel like that guy is just all about discipline and process. And
I'll tell you
is
who
that
he
exciting?
is.
Do I really want to watch that? I mean, not really, but I kind of respect it from afar because I'm kind of the opposite.
That's kind of how I feel.
There's so much going on with it. I think it's Matt Fitzpatrick light. It's
That's a good
Matt
take,
Fitzpatrick,
TC. I like that.
Quite light.
Or-
I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick won the US Open.
No, but
Just
from
to
a-
give him his respect.
You're saying
yeah.
from a process point
Yeah.
of view, the way they approach the game seems similar.
Yeah, the double rank. I wish DJ was here. For some reason, Aaron Rai pisses DJ off more than anyone.
You called him he's like a human graphing calculator. He said in Slack today.
Is that a TI 83?
Yeah, exactly. Well, but no, that goes to the point of iron covers. Yeah, no, I want to protect my I don't care. Don't care how I look. Don't care what it looks like. If it gives me any type of edge, I'm going to do it. Of 2 gloves, something has,
White pants in Mexico.
Yeah,
Ballsy.
I don't know. I appreciate it from afar. Not really thrilled when I see Aaron Rai's name on the leaderboard, but hey, it is what it is.
All right. Well, we're going to circle back to a couple other, quick hits from around the PGA Tour and golf and whatnot. But I want to get to something else. Before we do that, if you want to hit it like Aldrich Potgieter, you can go to a brand new landing page at thestacksystem.com/NLU, and code no laying up is going to get you 10% off the Stack System. We got our guy Neil doing it finally. We got What any updates you can give us on what you got?
Well,
going on?
I hit my baseline a couple weeks ago, and then then it made me do the baseline again because I waited 10 days. I got sidetracked. We're doing the 10 strain thing too, so I got a lot going on. Anyway, did the baseline again, and then today I did my first foundational workout up on my roof. It was first time it's been over 40 degrees in, I don't know, 20 days. So I took it up to the roof, man, and just, started swinging out of my shoes on the roof of my apartment. It was actually, it's good. And actually it leads to a decent workout, get some strain in. I'm committed to, I'm ready for golf season. So it's helping me kind of get going. Went over to the simulator this week. I'm jonesing to play some golf.
You're one of the most disciplined people I know. And if I can do this 2 times a week and I'm not very disciplined, you can do the stack 2 times a week and you're going to gain serious club head speed. You've already got it, but anyone who does this program 30 to 35 minutes 2 times a week is all it takes. Once every 3 days. Some weeks you're going to have 3 days mixed in there, but if you want very serious gains in your club head speed, which is going to trickle down to every part of your game, thestacksystem.com/NLU, and you can use code no laying up for 10% off. Tons of other information on there, a video up on that landing page, kind of documenting the process and how I've upped my club head speed. And I'm committed to being back in. I've been off for like 3 months with life changes, but I'm going to be back in, and the speed's coming back here in the next couple months.
So one thing I will say, honestly, the warm up is just it's starting to become like, you
should do that before any round of golf. Yes,
exactly. I'm like, oh, that just makes a lot of sense. I should just do that every time I play.
Totally, completely. So, all right, this is the main event for tonight. 8 weeks down of the PGA Tour season. There's 23 weeks to go on the PGA Tour regular season, so about a quarter of the way through it. Going to level set in some things, see where we're at. The Tour, is heading to Florida now, which means it's time. Once the Tour heads to Florida, it's just time to start thinking about Augusta. And also in between the Mexico Open and the Cognizant, it's probably a great time to start getting excited about the first major championship of the year. So we're also on the, we're going to do some Ryder Cup look-ins, check-ins here after this. But I wanted to go through, and we're going to come up with a power ranking, a consensus power ranking. We're each going to go through our individual list, but a consensus power ranking after this West Coast swing 6 weeks out from the first major of the year. And here's kind of how I prompted you guys to fill this out, was like, list your 10 guys in order now, but pretend like you're trying to cover the winner in the field, but you got to pretend that somebody could magically come in and say, you only get the top 4 guys. You only get the top 6 guys. You only get the top 8 guys. So you got to really come up with, I didn't want 6 and 7 to feel equal on this list. I wanted you to list out who you think are the most likely people. I'd refused to look at the odds going into this. This was pure, no data, eye test and gut test only going into this.
Solid.
I'm curious how you guys approached it.
You want the consensus?
Well,
I've got all 3 people.
Do we want to go through our list first, and then we can kind of land back on the consensus?
I think the consensus is more interesting, and then you kind of unwrap it.
Okay.
With each person.
All right. So this is when you averaged out where our rankings ended up. You sent the list in. These are each center 10 picks.
So I did, just like we did the Ball Knowers QB rankings that everybody's thanking us for.
Disgrace.
I had
true disgrace.
People come up to me
curious about that,
you
can. I actually don't go listen to the Trap Draw. A true disgrace on the Ball Knowers.
We need to sign some kind of disclaimer that we don't, we're not in on the bid or something, Neil. The hurt stuff just makes no sense.
No bid. Anyway, you get 10 points. So there's 3 of us. So top end is 30 points. 10 points for a first place ranking, 9 points for a second place ranking, and so forth. So guys, no shocker. Scotty, number 1. 30 points, unanimous.
Sure.
No tomfoolery here.
I'm hoping you guys join me on number 2.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Ludwig was not unanimous though.
Okay.
We'll get to that. 23 points. So he had two 9-pointers and one farther down, which will dismay you. Xander was 3rd, 1 point behind Ludwig, 22 points. 4th was Rory at 19. Rahm was 5th at 16. Hideki 6th at 13. And then big fall off from there. And then we've got Bryson, Brooks, and Morikawa. They're tied at 7th. And at 10th, any guesses?
I would guess JT.
No.
Cam Smith.
There was 13, or there was 14 total guys that got points.
Freaking forgot about Cam Smith. Oops.
Cam Smith.
Any guesses? No. He was Hatton and Cam were tied at 13th with 1 point apiece. Joaquin had 4 points. He was 12th. Zalatoris, 11th. And Thomas Fleetwood was 10th.
What?
Was it all from one guy? I'm guessing he's got to be.
It must have been. They're
Yeah.
not even on my freaking list.
This is why I didn't want to do
Yes.
a consensus ranking.
Yes,
There's no
I had him at
consensus
fifth.
in this.
Oh, that's the
Unbelievable.
that's the consensus right there.
TC,
Tommy,
yeah, he's
I had
he's
Tommy at
filibustering.
fifth, and I had Joaquin at seventh. He also had a.
Give me your full list. Let's go through your full list. Your list 1 through 10.
I had
This is
Scotty, Ludwig, Rory, Xander, Tommy, Zalatoris, Joaquin, Hideki, Colin, Bryson.
so no
then-
Brooks in that. If I calculate,
No Brooks, no
Okay.
Rom. I didn't have Brooks in my top 16.
No Rom.
Wow.
I went Rom at 11th, Cam Smith at 12th, Big Shot Bob at 13th, Jay Day at 14th, Young Tom Kim at 15th, and Hovland at 16th.
Help me with the Rom rationale here. Help me
I
out
feel like
here.
he's too amped for it, and he's gonna kind of like what happened last year. He just kind of laid an egg. He's gonna get up too much for it, and then he hasn't really been dominating at the live events. He got dusted by Moronk, and just hasn't. He
I don't know. A
just
lot of
doesn't.
golf left before.
Yeah,
before Augusta.
Is
I just
is
think he's
Riyadh
too good.
a similar course fit to Augusta National? I'd have to.
No, but I think he's gonna have plenty of time to ramp up to prep.
Sure.
You want my list, Solid?
I'm ready. Yes.
I have Scotty, Xander, Rom, Brooks, Ludwig, Rory, Hideki,
No,
Colin,
you had-
Bryson,
no.
Hatton.
you had Hideki 6th, Rory 7th.
I have, well, on my list, it's Rory. Honestly, yeah, you could change it. Hideki 6, Rory 7, sure.
That would change up the consensus rankings, I think, too. But Rory 7th from the leader
Yeah.
of the block party.
Yeah,
at
I'm
that.
still
How
going
do
to
you
pick him to
feel
win.
about
I actually already put my
wait. You're still picking him to win?
Well,
You
yeah,
haven't-
but this was an exercise in like if my life depended on it, not if I want to bet money on it and root for it. You asked me like gun to my head, like there are
Yeah.
5 or 6 guys I'd probably take before Rory because of the scar tissue.
Okay.
And I'm valuing experience. I'm valuing guys that know how to play in big spots. And I think, kind of going with a little bit more history than it seems like you guys had. Like Ludwig, I love, obviously he played awesome last year. He's only been there once, so it's like some of these other guys, experience matters at Augusta.
Now that he's been there once, think about
Yeah.
how much better he's going to be.
Yeah,
Well,
so
sure,
like your pick to win is just the pick you want to win, then, right? if that's going to be your guy to win.
My pick to win is like, yeah.
You said I'm still gonna pick
Scotty's.
him.
I guess you're asking me to power rank it, right?
Yes.
And I didn't look at the odds or anything. It's just like if I'm trying to, power rank it, I think I'm going with a lot more experience than I am.
Brooks 4th is interesting.
That's probably a reach. I kind of regret that one, but the other ones I feel pretty good about. So there you have it.
I did
And
mine
Neil had
Friday. and
JT, Hovland, Zalatoris, Adam Scott, and the
And
Lynx
Jordan Spieth.
master, Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
I did
As
mine
his next
Friday,
spot.
and I looked at him like, what was I thinking? And then changed everything around today. But mine went Scotty. I got Ludwig number 2. Almost won it last year and is playing even better golf and has some experience. I have Rom 3. I refuse to forget about him. I don't care if he's not dominating live. He's still finished. He's finished in the top 10 of every live event he's played in. I believe I read that might have been a bot account that I read that on, but
Listen, I'd like to see more high end traits. You've crushed others for coming in top. For
He
banking
won-
top 10s.
I mean, he won Live UK in July. He won Chicago and has finished runner-up 3 other times since then.
And
Like,
he won the Masters 2 years ago?
He won the Masters 2 years ago. Like,
He's finished runner up 3 times. People are saying he might not be able to close.
I would take my chances. If he's in the hunt Sunday, I'd like to have that name pretty high up on my board. I refuse to forget about Rom, even if he had a
He's got
tough
3
major
kids
season
now,
last year.
Solly. You know how that goes.
He doesn't. Yeah, he spaced him out a little better than I did. But I got Rory 4. I'm not saying it feels vastly different this year, but I feel more hopeful this year than I have in years past.
That's exciting.
That's all I'll say about that. So that's an RSVP yes to the party. I'll
You could. I
believe.
mean, you could talk me into bumping Rory up to 4 and Brooks down to 6. Sign me up for that.
I
Come
mean,
on, man. Give me some hope.
I might be managing the party this year. I got him 3rd.
God.
That's
Gonna
interesting.
you're going to be ripping people off for drinks and all kinds of scummy private equity stuff, TC.
I didn't know what to do with Xander. I got him smack dab in the middle at 5. Hideki at 6. Bryson at 7, and I regret that. I mean, he just doesn't play. I mean, he doesn't play Augusta well. He did last year, but I don't know. I'm
Par
regretting that one.
68 for him, man. Come on.
Koepka at 8. Don't know what I was thinking there. Morikawa 9, and then I put Cam Smith at 10. It starts to get kind of, I really don't have a lot of faith in anyone on the back half of that one, sans Hideki. But
I just think you guys got to factor in what's going to happen between now and April 8th or April 10th.
I feel like, Xander's been hurt, so that maybe I'm stretching a little bit there too. But he's played well at Augusta. He's had some good, some close finishes.
Xander always played exceptionally well.
That's what I mean. So I feel very comfortable. I know it's chalky, but Scotty Xander, it's like
I got Xander at 4. Yeah, I got no issues with that. I think the top 4 are like bulletproof.
If he was healthier, I would feel different. I mean, I just don't know what we're going to get out of him. I mean, we're seeing this from Scotty coming back. He won 3 straight tournaments without winning. There's a little bit of mystery with Xander's health going into this. Haven't seen him hit a golf shot really at this season.
I want to see Joaquin bank a top 10 in a major.
Anywhere.
Anywhere, right?
Anywhere.
God.
It's definitely time for some of the whines about not getting into the majors and still get special invites into them. So.
And I'm just hoovering up Zalatoris real estate. I mean, I'm like the Blackstone,
man. I kind of feel that. I had him at 13. He's had a little bit of success long ago. He's gained some weight. Come on, maybe he rounds into form.
That's an interesting bridge into our next topic. We have been slacking on our Ryder Cup check-ins. We always the gut is to do these after a big event, but they don't get the points updated like night of, and it's just hard to do on the fly, like after the Players or after Bay Hill. So we've thrown in some comments over the last couple of weeks about, hey, it's not looking so great on the U.S. side, looking great on the European side. Wanted to open it up to just do a check-in. We usually do this, once a quarter of who's on your team as of right now. This Ryder Cup update is brought to you by our friends at BMW. They are not only the official vehicle of No Laying Up, but also a worldwide partner of the 2025 Ryder Cup. Looking forward to spending some time with them on site at Bethpage later this year to experience the ultimate team competition. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make some teams. A lot of listing guys out on tonight's episode, but we're going to list out our Ryder Cup teams for both the U.S. and the European side. Now, I asked you guys to divide this out into 4 categories. There's this stone cold locks in this first category. And I made this next category called odds on, but not locks, because I think people get way too trigger happy on the word lock and put too many guys into category 1. And I'm going to throw challenge flags if you guys got carried away with that one as well. So stone cold locks, odds on, but not locks. Third category is in as of now. Like if you had to make the team right now, who are you putting on it? And then the final category is keeping my eye on, as in I could see any of these guys changing into any of those final spots, or if there's an injury that was going to happen. So I want to start with the U.S. side. And Neil, I want you to go first.
Starting with the locks.
Start with your locks, your stone cold locks. How many are there?
3 of them.
Okay, good.
I kind of broke them up into, you gave me 4 categories. I got Scotty, Xander, and Colin are my 3 locks.
Okay. That's exactly what I have for the 3 locks.
Right. It just feels like Colin's not going anywhere, and Scotty and Xander are, they're clearly the top 2.
Notable missing from the locks is Cantlay, which, the partner of Xander and been on a lot of these teams, but he has not played great golf, not been the full Patrick Cantlay in recent times. So just that's a noteworthy leave off for the both of us there.
He hasn't. He did play well at Genesis.
Yes.
He had T5 at Amex, T5 at Genesis. Like he's not playing bad golf per se. He's not missing.
No, 2024 was just not like the Cantlay we've seen. Like it was like almost a full shot back per round, which is not good.
Correct. But my guy, the Hammer, is gonna step it up if TGL doesn't mess him up first.
That's true. All right, who are your odds on but not locks, Neil?
I have Cantlay, Bryson, and JT. I think JT is continuing to trend. I think with the history of him being kind of the heart and soul, a bit of a glue guy, a bit of an enemy for the for the other side. How bad everybody knows he wants to be on the team. I feel like he's trending in the right direction, and I see him being in that top 6.
All right. Who else is in as of now?
Okay. I was looking at it kind of like
you had to do 12 guys. You split them into 4 categories.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to think about who's going to trend towards. I'm not thinking about the Ryder Cup being next week. Is that the correct exercise here?
Yeah. I think it's, if you had to lock the team in now, but it's in September is who you would have
We
in.
might have an anti-blow pig.
Well,
person
I've got Sam Burns, Brooks, and Daniel Berger. I think Berger's going to start bucking his head. It's good to see him back. And I don't think he's scared. I think he would be a great member of this team. He seems like he gets along with everybody. I just like watching him play golf. I would love to see him on this team.
Okay. Some notable names.
That's a bit of a reach, but he's kind of climbing up the leaderboard, or the rankings. So I don't know. What do you you want me to?
No, keep going. Let's finish your team here, and then keeping your eye on.
Feel good about this, but there's some history there. I got Big Tone, and then I got Akshay. I want him on the squad. I'm willing that into existence. I want to see him on the U.S. Ryder Cup team.
Big Tone, course fit.
It's truly it's. Do you want to go with the future or the past? I've got Zalatoris or Wyndham. I would like to see Zalatoris. I feel like Wyndham probably, if the Ryder Cup was next week, you put him on the team. But maybe Zalatoris can kind of, whip his chicken this year and get onto this squad.
Did you say Brooks? Did you have Brooks anywhere? Did I miss that?
Yeah, Brooks was in. It was Sam Burns, Brooks, and Daniel Berger.
Got and as of now,
which I'm not super excited about Sam Burns, but he's really, really solid. I think Brooks is, I still think he's a top tier golfer, and he'll probably show up at the majors this year and be on this team. And he's been a pretty solid member of the team in the past.
Yeah, I got a lot of theories on that, but I'll give you mine here. And I did this a little differently. So I fill out the first 12 within the first 3 categories, and keeping my eye on are guys that I think could end up filling out the last spot, because the 12th spot is tough. It's a bit of a tough scene.
That's not. I got a bunch of names that.
Yeah, I got theories out the ass.
That's
no. I'll give you my 12 guys. I'll give you my 12 guys, and then
12.
Who I think the 5 or 6 guys in that could cycle in was kind of my thought process here. Stone Cold locks are Scotty, Xander, and Morikawa, just like you said. I think odds on but not locks are JT, Bryson, Brooks, Cantlay, and Spieth. Yeah.
Wow.
I think he's better than 50% chance to be on this team. Definitely not a lock, but I think it's likely that he will be on this team.
So how many is that now?
That's 8 guys.
Okay.
My remaining 4, as of now, if we were lining up right now, this is the final 4 spots I'd fill in. I got Big Tone, Big Ballpark, Bethpage. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Russell Henley, not the most amazing course fit, but solid at the President's Cup, just all around solid game. I got Zalatoris in for the Big Ballpark as well. And this is stupid. This is dumb. I don't know if I would actually take him right now over all this, but where I think we'll be by the end of the year, I think Luke, give me that 12 spot Luke Clanton. Do it.
That's
fuck
on my list.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
been one of the top, I think I saw one of the top 10 players Smartin was tweeting about over a certain period of time, but hasn't risen enough in the world rankings. So
God, I can't believe you put Spieth in the odds on category.
You don't think he's going to, he's going
to, I think Solly might be misunderstanding odds on.
That's not,
right?
That's not true
it
at all.
just feels
negative
like,
odds.
Spieth's got a lot of work to do. Keegan's going to have to make a captain's pick over a lot of guys that are ahead of him right now in points, And
that they have proven to do that a lot in the past. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little fired up after the T4.
Listen, like everybody, probably most people listening, I would love to see that, but I haven't seen it yet. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's tough.
I think it's likely that he'll be on the team. I think I would not put it, if he has a bad season, that's why I didn't have him as a lock. If he has a bad season, I can see them not taking him. But I think if he's, medium Spieth, I think they'll probably end up taking him. Again, mostly because the names I'm keeping my eye on don't get me very excited here. And I think it kind of defaults to getting more excited.
I know it's tough when you're looking down the list and you're seeing, no offense, Billy Ho, but I feel like Billy Ho might fade.
You want to see
Denny McCarthy. Yeah. It's I like Denny, but I don't know if I need him to be on the Ryder Cup team.
Totally.
Not a great course fit. I keep Sahith.
I didn't even have Sahith on keeping my eye on, but that's trending in a really bad direction. I got DB straight vibing, keeping an eye on. That's somebody, show me something and I'll put you right in. You don't have a long way to go there. Akshay, going to need some sustained success. Same with Mav.
Akshay's sick. Okay.
As well.
Way in.
Sam Burns and the blow pig I have on there only because of Bethpage. I mean, it's been a really tough scene for him, and I could not put him on the team right now. But if he starts playing some decent golf and we start thinking course fit, I could see him making sense there. So, TC, how you
All
feeling
right,
out the
TC.
U.S. team?
Yeah, I mean, I got the same locks. Scotty, Xander, Colin. I am moving the blow pig down. I've got Bryson as my fourth guy. This is me extrapolating into the future of, I think, what is going to happen the rest of the season. I've got the Pat in the Hat and Cantlay. That's kind of my those three are kind of my
Odds
wait.
on, but not locks.
odds on.
You had Bryson, Cantlay, and who?
Bryson, Cantlay, and Zalatoris.
Zalatoris. Okay.
And then I've got JT. I'm bullish on Mav. I think Mav is, I would say he's what, fifth in the rankings right now. I'm bullish on him. So I've got JT, Mav, Big Tone in my next.
That's in you're talking in as of now.
Yes. So that's 9. And then after that, I've got Clanton, Berger, and I'm all over the place with my last one. I'm gonna stick with my guy Keegan though. My boy Keegan. I mean, all he's got to do is like if he wins a major, or if he
Always got.
He's only like 1 week
got to win
can change
Augusta. Yeah.
anything. But
I don't know if Keegan goes out and wins a signature event though, like he won the BMW. Like I have no problem with him being on the squad, even if I know he said he wouldn't pick himself if he wasn't in the top 6, but come on, man, that'd be fun.
Other guys I'm keeping an eye on. I think Horschel could get hot. Sahith, I'm kind of sticking a fork in him at this point. Burns, Akshay, Harris English.
I
could keep it up. HE could keep it up.
I regret
forget he
not
was on the
having
Whistling Straits team, and Austin Eckroat. I think we're entering a portion of the schedule that's going to very much suit Eckroat.
Sorry, you probably just said JT Poston.
I didn't have JT Poston on there. I didn't have
pound for pound best golfer on the planet. TC.
I didn't have Spieth on there. Yeah, I mean Poston. I don't think Bethpage is a great course fit for him, and I don't think he's going to make it on points. So
you're not even keeping an eye on Spieth?
Not really right now. He's got to show me a lot more. I'm concerned about the health.
Yeah.
Concerned about, I got spooked last week.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. This should be really fun.
Scared.
TC, we're going to start. We're going to snake it back with you for your European Ryder Cup team. Stone cold locks.
Yeah. Stone cold locks.
There's
Rory.
more. There's more on the European side.
For sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I've got 8 stone cold.
Oh my God. All right.
On the European side.
Jesus.
Rory, Ludwig, Shane, Tommy, Rahm, Sepp, Tyrrell, and Hovland.
Sepp is
tell me which
stone
of those
cold lock.
Sepp is an absolute stone.
Oh, he clowned you last time too, Saul. You're gonna start over on Sepp again?
Clown me. He went 1 and 2.
You
what are
were
you
dogging
talking
him
about?
to be on the team. Come on.
He was 1 and 2.
He's a stud.
I think
Sepp Strauss is a stud.
I think Sepp's a thoroughbred.
I do too, TC.
He's
He
a
hits the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
I think he's a great golfer. He's having a
good
good
locker
season.
room guy. Everybody likes him.
Come
He's
on.
easy to pair up with.
I mean, again, stone cold lock. Nothing could happen between now and the end of the year that Sepp wouldn't make the team.
I think he's a cornerstone. Yeah, I mean, he could get hurt.
Well, not outside of injury. Yeah. Man, that's a lot of locks.
I mean, I don't know. What's he at right now? Let me see the European. So let me get this straight. Europe's going to a different. They're not doing the 2 rankings list this year.
Correct.
They're just doing 1. So right now it's Rory is miles ahead. Then Tyrrell, Rasmus, Ludwig, Shane Lowry, and Dietrich. And then you've got Wallace is 7th. And Sepp just doesn't Sepp's going to need a pick, but I don't know.
You're
I mean,
talking yourself out of this.
No, I'm not at all. Sepp's what in the world right now?
He is. He's 38th in the Ryder Cup standings for Europe.
Yeah, that's just because they don't count like PGA Tour events.
Sepp in the world is 18th and 21st in the Data Golf rankings.
Yeah, I mean that's a no-brainer pick for me. And then Hovland, he's got time to get his shit together here.
There's no way Hovland's not on this team.
Exactly, right? Especially at a place like at Bethpage.
I think they take a flyer on him for sure.
Yes. And then next up, I don't even have odds on. I just have dudes that are on as of right now. I got Rasmus and Nikolai, both of them on there. And then I'm down to 2 spots here between Nicholas Norgard, Aaron Rye, Big Shot Bob, Dietrich, Mike Wallace, Torbjorn Olesen, Team Rose, Puig, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, and I'll tell you who's not sniffing this team because he's playing not good golf.
Team
Matt
Rose.
Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
Team Rose, I'm
Yes, sir.
still giving a little bit of look to. But right now, if you made me pick, I would go with Nicholas Norgard and Big Shot Bob, not Dietrich.
Interesting. Are you concerned with
Wow.
Nikolai's fall off at all?
Am I? Yeah. I mean, he made the cut this week at a National Open to start.
I mean, he's fallen back to. I mean, it was 2023, the year he made the European Ryder Cup team. He was close to a full shot game player. He's back to like average. He's back to like 0.0,
Yeah.
which is a cause for concern, I think. But that he would put me more in the maybe in as of now. Course fit is going to be fantastic for him, and
He
that's where
finished 8th this week too. I mean, it's not like he's playing bad.
I mean, it's
Just-
the Vidanta world.
I
You see
think-
the
I
guy
think
who
he's
won
gonna
it?
get his. I did. He lost to that guy, which is concerning. So,
All right, I'll give you. I have way shorter lock list. I think it's Rory, Ludwig, Rahm, Hatton, Fleetwood are your
Shane's not on your lock list.
It's not like a stone cold lock. Like it's odds on. It's very likely he'll be on the team. I have Hovland, Sepp, Rasmus, and Lowry as like very, very, very good chances of being on. And then in as of now, the final 3 spots right now, I got Big Shot Bob. I got Harry Hall, which you did not mention, who's playing fantastic golf.
Interest.
And Nikolai's in that 12th spot almost entirely because of course fit and ignoring kind of his overall trends. Eyes on Fitz, Aaron Rai, Steven Yeager, Nicholas Norgard. Yeah, I think Europe's like first 9 are phenomenal, which is like extremely important. Extremely, extremely important. Those final 3 are going to be
and then we got the horses in the back. We got all sorts of options. Torbjorn's playing good golf right now.
Continuity matters. I that's why I feel like Hovland's just, I know he's not playing great, but I just feel like he'll be on this team for sure.
I think he almost certainly will, but he's so mental that like it could be a disastrous season for him. Like it, in theory, very well could go way off the rails, just based on truly the literal quotes he's giving us. So
they're awesome.
I do not feel like I'm out on a limb by saying that, but I'd be very surprised he was not on the team. But no, he would definitely be on the team.
I know Yeager is eligible. I don't think they would ever in a million years pick him though.
Course fit though. I mean, like again, it's going to be a BSI invitational.
But they've said like, hey, let's give us. You got to give us DP World Tour starts too, right? Like you got to come over and contribute a little bit here. That's why, like, I think if we had 2 Danes, 2 Rasmuses on the team, and Rasmus Niergaard Peterson and Rasmus Højgaard, that would be tough to beat.
And a Nikolai Højgaard. You could get 2 Højgaards and 2 Rasmuses.
We could have 4 Danes on the team.
What do you got, Neil?
Got Rory, Ludwig, Rahm as locks. I kind of broke it up into the 3-3-3-3. Then I've got Lowry, Hatton, and Hovland. TC, Tommy should be in that group, but I just figured I'd drop him into that 3rd category just to
in as of now.
Just to get you. He's in as of now.
Super cool, Neil.
I've got Tommy, Sepp, and Dietrich. I feel like Dietrich is like a good course fit. Super, like
he's not great off the tee, is he?
I feel like he hits it a long way. I mean, he's a unit. And then I've got one of the Højgaards. TC, you pick, but we're only taking one Højgaard. Okay, there's a quota on Højgaards.
We're gonna go with Rasmus this year.
Okay, so Rasmus is in, Big Bob, and then it's kind of between Fitz and Aaron Rai for me in that last spot. Do you go with history? I feel like continuity matters a lot for Team Europe, so I could see, in Fitz, there's a lot of golf left between now and then, but Aaron Rai's like, that'd be a solid pick. Like I feel like you could pair him with a bunch of different guys. Doesn't seem like, he seems like he might fit in well on this team.
I would point to course fit with Rai of not being great, but I honestly wonder. Like I look at the profiles of these 2 teams. Like, does it serve the U.S. team to set this up to be a bomber's paradise? Like I do not think any way it does. I almost certainly that Rory, Ludwig, nope. Rahm, nope. I mean, Hatton and Fleetwood are more on the accurate side than bombers, but Hovland hits it far. Rasmus hits it very far. Sepp doesn't hit it that far, but I mean that's
Sepp hits a heavy ball though.
Yeah. He
That
seems
could
like
be
he hits it far.
understated.
He passes my eye test on hitting it far. He looks
Yeah.
like he hits it far.
I don't know how well that how much that's going to make a difference. He's a below average distance guy, but way above average with accuracy.
God, he continues to just drag his name through the mud, TC. Just not a SEP guy here.
Just
It's
give
like
He was
feel
my
like he's
MVP
and
at
then
the
you
West
guys-
Coast Swing.
unbelievable, man.
You know, Team Rose only has two
Neil,
you know,
I'll say this. Go
two
back
top
and listen
tens.
to some of our old pods of who we put on the team in January and February, and you'll laugh. Like Taylor Montgomery has made multiple Ryder Cup teams, I think, because we get.
Well, then he got the driver yips.
Then we get super amped up at the early part of the season, and then
no,
things
I
play
do remember
course.
the old pod. I remember you dragging his name through the mud back in 2023,
and he went
Seth,
1 and 2. Like I feel very
unbelievable,
justified
man.
with that.
I was just
I'm
dancing
not
on
sure
your
if
grave
it's a
making the team.
vendetta against Austria or against Valdosta. It's one of the two. But he's got a
Bad,
vendetta.
Sully.
It's against
bad.
Diet Coke, DC. Anyway, so that's our Ryder Cup check-in on the current state of the game and the standings. I literally look at it and I'm like, yeah, let's keep pushing it because more stuff has to materialize here. I'm very glad to not do the Keegan debate tonight.
Dude, I'm with you though on like the Euro squad just looks so much more above the Mendoza
better.
line than the US team. Like I'm
Totally.
not, it's like, yeah, we're all putting Big Tone on the team, but it's like I'm not really fired up about Big Tone being on the squad. Like he's not playing that good. Doesn't feel like, oh man, God,
They're
I
short. They're
doesn't
short
feel
on
like I have a
hotel
ton of
rooms
guys to choose
out
from
there,
on
too.
the US team. It feels like on the Euro side, I'm like, oh man, yeah, there's like 9 guys that I feel like are autos.
I'm not sure they have enough hotel rooms for Big Tone's family out there. Long
They
Island.
might not. Hotel rooms are tough to find in Farmingdale.
Let's get to the back nine, if you will. Let's give you a chance, TC. I know you've always got notes to clean up from PGA Tour around the league. We'll get into some PGA Tour and PIF stuff as well. But anything else on the PGA Tour front you want to get to?
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out Potgieter's 323-yard driver off the deck that was making the rounds on social media. It was awesome. What else do we have? We shouted out Isaiah Salinda earlier. He's sort of replaced Justin Suh as like the recent, now Big Ten, but / ACC, but former Pac-12 or Pac-10 stud. Amateur Justin Hastings had a strong showing this week, and then Blades Brown made his first cut as a pro, I believe. So,
Your boy.
yeah. But Sally, I was fired up about the Grupo Salinas exemption situation. They had
TC,
some
why TC? What possibly?
they had
could get
some
you
designated event exemptions that this is a national open, right? And it should feel like such. It should feel like a reflection of Mexico. And they have an absolute axe to grind with the Giro Mexicana, which is the Mexican professional tour. And they didn't give really anybody from that tour an exemption. They didn't give Omar Morales, who's by far the best Mexican amateur player right now, an exemption because last year they tried to give him an exemption with the caveat that he had to wear all of their stuff. He basically had to sign like an NIL deal with Grupo Salinas or their
shared prosperity across the chest.
They're trying to give out this prosperity.
Their ARA thing, which is I don't know. Like basically, they invited some amateurs that probably shouldn't have been there, and they passed over some guys, whether that's Roberto Diaz or El Camarón, or even guys like if they're saying, hey, we want to give a hand up to more guys, promising professionals, in the professional ranks of kind of the Latin American scene. I don't think they did a great job of that. So from what I've heard, Benjamin and his father Ricardo,
Benjamin
and his father Ricardo, they have a complete hard-on for trying to get into Augusta, and they're just trying to do this as kind of like a prestige play.
To the members of Augusta,
what
just let them in.
Heard.
So much stress in the golf world could be changed if you guys just give out a few more memberships to some powerful,
seriously, do us all a favor.
businessmen. Yes.
Yeah, just very, very ambitious folks. They're trying to kind of buy their way in.
To share prosperity, man. That's not a 9 to 5. That's 24/7.
Yeah, and then they invited the USAM champ, which good on them, Joselle Ballister. But I know that he's a GSE guy, so there's some leverage there. I think Grupo Salinas very ingratiated with GSE as well. But all I'll say is I just want this thing to feel more like a national open, right?
Yeah.
Like make it feel like Mexican golf, the celebration of that, not just some, bizarre dystopian timeshare resort with all sorts of circus antics going on. Like take it to a real golf course and a real, I don't know, like a place where real people play golf, I guess.
Chapultepec. That's just
Chapultepec ruled.
We never knew how good we had it watching DJ and Phil and all these guys play Chapultepec, which we can do in a couple of months as Liv is going to Chapultepec. I will give a big dub to Liv for truly, that's what I loved about that tournament was like it was in Mexico City. And like the stories that you hear from outside the golf course and everything, like, dude, yeah, you're in it. Like you're in a real city.
God, imagine Potgieter at Chapultepec.
Oh my God.
Blast
when
off.
is that? That's April 25th
April.
to 27th.
Yeah.
Late April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
I
Masters
don't know.
exemption doesn't work, but the joke stands.
I'm just, they've got a grudge with some of the Mexican guys that didn't join their little ARA thing here. And I guess Ben Hameen had a booth hit on Saturday that I totally missed.
He did.
I need somebody to send me that.
I saw it again. I didn't have the sound on. We had the sound machines going and a lot of naps while I'm getting to watch some golf. But
so anyway, that pretty much ties it off on that front. We've got Cognizant this week. I saw it. Linksmaster Jord and his wife Annie are expecting their third child. You can welcome them to the club when the time is right. Big to do made about Koala Carl signing with Sunday Red. I like Koala Carl. Good dude. I don't know if it rose to the level of revolutionary or some of the other things that it was glossed. And then, Solly, I was bummed to see this. The Tour NFT program was winding down.
No one's more bummed than Phil.
20 bill.
God, I honestly forgot about the NFT thing.
Was it 8 bill or 20? What was
20?
The number?
Remembering
20, right?
where this thing started with like Phil trying to explain that the PGA Tour was sitting on $20 billion of NFTs. And that was like the genesis of Live. Like one of the reasons he was going to live that in the app were, of course, the reasons he was going to live. Like it was a true blast from the past from 2021 of just the Phil meltdown that led us to where we are.
Yeah, this was a email from player partnerships with the PGA Tour out to certified agents and managers. So I know his mom would have gotten it.
Alex Smalley.
This week, players will be receiving their final NFT participation and/or pro rata payments. The participation payment was based on final 23 FedEx Cup standings, and the pro rata was determined based on individual player sales in 2024. This is the final payment of the NFT program, as both DraftKings and Autograph have sunset their respective NFT businesses.
Gosh, you just hate it. We had so much hope for NFTs.
Shout out to Richard Karn.
He was all over this one.
It was early.
For the record, that's a joke. There was no NFTs held in this household. So
that we know of.
Yeah.
And then last thing I wanted to shout out just on the PGA Tour ecosystem standpoint before we get to this past week's meetings. The Argentina Open is this week down at Jockey Club, and I wish it was televised because it would be great theater.
TC, I'm springing this on you, but you want to bring us home with our final sponsor check-in of the evening?
Happily. H&B, our friends at Holderness Bourne, back for more on the NLU podcast in 2025. And Sally, you're wearing the Wallace hoodie. I'm wearing the cashmere sweater. I busted this out. And I was wearing it out on the slope. I was wearing the Wallace hoodie out on the slopes. Their spring stuff just launched on hbgolf.com. They've got some fresh color stories: fusion, deep teal, citron. Neil, I think citron's a money color for you, kind of reminiscent of some of those wildly good outfits of like the 1970s and 1980s guys playing in the Masters and stuff like that.
We'll have to take a gander. I'm a big fan of the new t-shirts they came out with.
Yeah, those are great. Tilly, their first quarter zip hoodie, versatile for on or off course. Their aeration line, which is awesome. One of the t-shirts is also aeration. I was wearing the black Wallace all week this week. And then NLU 10 at hbgolf.com for 10% off your first order. This is the only discount code, along with our sister podcast, The Trap Draw. That's got a promo code as well. But NLU 10 at hbgolf.com for 10% off. That's the only one on the market. And in my opinion, like this is the first stuff that I seek out when I go into a pro shop anywhere.
And working on a another 2025 Nest discount too. So look out for that if you're a Nest member.
God, this website's so good. hbgolf.com. Check it out. Anything else happened in the PGA Tour news? Anything else? This is the second hole of the back nine. The first hole was our
and it's
odds
a
and
long,
ends from
it's
Vidanta.
a really meaty par 5 here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or is it just that 600-yard par 5 where you just hit the driver at Vidanta that you don't put a lot of thought into here? Could go either way.
Maybe as long as that flight from DC out to Steamboat, right? Yasser, Jay, Adam Scott, Tiger, DT all met in the Oval Office for.
Was Yasser there in person?
Yes.
I believe Yasser was there in person.
Okay.
He was supposed to speak at their conference in Miami, and he skipped that to fly up and do this. And they went in with high hopes, from what I was told. They were even to the point of, hey, it's possible that something like really tangible gets announced today.
We're gonna do a deal, baby.
And based on all the conversations I've had, plus there was a name in the Lynch column that very much intimated that it did not go well. Based on what I've heard, it went horribly.
Which is so the only option here is to laugh at.
We got to hammer out a few deal points, TC. Just a couple little. We're just stuck on the goal line here. It seems like,
Yeah, not good. Yeah, so I think Yasser seems very, very attached to the concept of live continuing on as a integral part of the golf landscape, and that seems to be at odds with how those on the other side of the table view it. And yeah, so
not only view it, but like are telling us what's going to happen, right? Like they're telling us the world is going to unify. Like they have said this, and the official statement that was released Thursday from the White House is, we have just concluded a constructive working session at the White House with President Trump and HE Yasser Al-Rumayyan. Thanks to the leadership of President Trump, we have initiated a discussion about the reunification of golf. We are committed to moving as quickly as possible, and we'll share additional details as appropriate. We share a passion for the game and the importance of reunification. Most importantly, we all want the best players in the world playing together more often and are committed to doing all we can to deliver that outcome for our fans. That's the official statement.
Initiated's doing a lot of heavy lifting there. I thought that was initiated about 2 years ago.
No, I don't understand. People keep saying that, but I don't understand the confusion here. They said they'd be done by December 31st, 2023, and here we are in February 2025, and they're starting discussions. What's off about this timeline? I don't see any. I see no issues with what's currently going on.
There's some serious you can spiral into I don't want to say conspiracy land, but like wargaming mode. With DT's probably thinking he's going to push this thing over the goal line, and it's just like, no, wait,
he doesn't have good enough weapons.
He might have to hit him with a 10% discount on the next fighter jet shipment. We're going to have to get MBS involved. This could. You look at what happened, like Eric Adams, like he might wheel and deal like some geopolitical thing with Saudi Arabia to try to, unite the golf world. Like that's not out of. Yeah. Is that out? Like I feel like that would. Years ago, you'd
I don't think anything's out of the
What
question.
Are you talking about, Neil? It's like, that seems very realistic right now, which is outrageous.
Anything seems realistic because, like, I truly, how many years into this, cannot tell you what the fuck Yasser wants. Like, what do you want? Like,
Yasser wants to belong to Augusta.
Like, yeah, and the RNA, TC.
Just let him in at this point. I mean, they've spent over $5 billion on this. What could they have bought in golf with $5 billion? They could have bought
a lot of things.
I mean, how many golf resorts could they have bought? How much would Pebble Beach cost? Like you could, where all the people play, and all the businessmen want to go play. You could have owned all of that for $5 billion. Instead, all you've done is made a bunch of professional golfers richer. That's all you've done with this, and they're just willing to see this all the way to completion. Or I don't. I'm done trying to make sense of it.
It is funny to play it out too. Like, okay, cool. Look, things stay separate. You could pump another, and you could bleed the PGA Tour dry, and let's say it's totally flailing, and then you take over, and it's like, what's the reward? Is like, look at the ratings right now. It's not like you're going to get some I still don't see it ever being a positive for them. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like a money-making operation.
No, that's where I'm at. Cause it's all right. Well, they're losing money hand over fist. Okay. Well, they don't seem to care about that. Okay. Nobody's watching. Okay. But they also don't seem to be caring about that. So they're just going to keep going until they get what they want. But I just can't. I thought what they wanted was a seat at the table amongst the
I think they want
ecosystem
more
in
than
pro
one
golf.
or two seats, though, right? And I think that's where, like, I don't know, like I have a tough time thinking, man, like Jay goes back to the SGS investors and says, hey, we totally misread the room on how close this thing was. Like, how does that
The
conversation go?
SSG.
Or yeah,
Yeah.
SSG.
Because
He's
the
got
luck of this is that Trump got elected and is willing to direct the Department of Justice to look the other way on the very clear antitrust issues of bringing this all together. Like the holdup
Yeah.
was supposed to be the antitrust stuff and getting it through the DOJ, and now it's like, oh no, things aren't going great.
And you can see them all going in that meeting, being like, "This is it. Yep, everything everything
Leon
played out
Lett
the last
just
3 months
holding
as
the ball
as
out.
we thought it would." And yeah, he's
and
just
then
like,
Jay flies directly back out to Steamboat. It's so sick.
I don't know, man.
It's very much like I've heard through the grapevine that the tour and SSG are saying, hey, like next step is we're using this full year to align, all of the personnel and the workforce at the global home and under PGA Tour Enterprises. We're gonna keep trimming the fat there. We're gonna right size this thing. We're gonna right size purse sizes as soon as this thing, they're spending money hand over fist on purse sizes, and that's not sustainable either. Like it's not like the PGA Tour is making a great margin at this point here. They've been totally bled dry by all this. And then Jay, the whole thing with Jay, I think with the Jay being named chairman of the board or whatever, CEO of Enterprises, as I understand it, as soon as a deal gets signed, he is out, or he is out at the end of this year, 12/31/2025, and he gets his $40 million golden parachute. What I would say is, if I was one of the mules out there, I would sue. I would absolutely sue and be a plaintiff, because that's like, this is the antitrust thing. Like the tour has said, we want to wind down Live and take a competitor off the board. That hasn't changed one bit.
I don't know the legalese about all this too, but like I guess I don't fully buy that the tour is getting bled dry by the purse sizes, because it's a lot. But it's, if I remember right, when they added the signature events, it only added like $54 million to things, which, like, if you're talking about a $40 million golden parachute, I'm like, well, hey guys, there's a pretty easy answer here to fund these increases in purses. I don't think the tour's gonna go broke over adding 50.
I don't think they're going broke,
bucks.
but I don't think it's something that like the SSG guys are thrilled about tossing in.
It probably doesn't
$1 billion.
look good long term. I feel like we've drained the rainy day fund from the COVID days, Solly, when we had that big surplus.
Plus, you think NBC and CBS are signing up for the same rights deal that they signed in 2020 with the way that the ratings have gone and everything? I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, hey, you got to look at the cliff after 2029 or 2030. So
Eamon's calling.
I just want to say though, this strikes me as like, take the whether it makes there's any ROI at the end of the rainbow. Probably not, right? This is basically though turning into kind of just like egos and personalities. And with DT getting involved, he doesn't like to, like, he wants to look like the savior of golf. And now we got the press release out that it's initiated. I feel like Yasser's saying, ooh, I could get a little bit more here. So, Solid, to your point, like, what does he want? He probably, wants another seat. He wants maybe a couple more points on the valuation, right? Of how much,
or he wants
PIF's
bigger seat than SSG, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to. I don't know. It's just now it feels like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think
here is the irrational actor at work.
Yes.
Right
I think that's what it comes down to, honestly, is he wants to save face. He does not want to shutter Live. Like, he
doesn't want to go to the Ritz-Carlton Riyadh.
He'd rather
for an all expenses paid vacation.
So as long as he can last, I think Live is likely to last in some form. He doesn't want it to be diminished. He doesn't want it to be an offshoot. That's where I'm like, been trying to I feel better about struggling to piece the puzzle together over the last year of like, the tour is saying this and Live is saying this. It's like, well, because they're clearly still on different pages of all this. And there isn't this, I don't know, so many people have thrown out this, oh, well, I mean, the Live guys should be able to come back and play PGA Tour events. Like, well, Live stacks all their events against the biggest PGA Tour events. Like, that isn't going to resolve itself anytime soon. And guys aren't going to be able to play 14 Live events and 15 PGA Tour events and 4 majors. Like, And Eamon's column was interesting because he basically defined it down to 4 guys that are competitive and commercially relevant.
Yeah, I thought that was really well put too, Sully.
And that is Rahm, Brooks, Bryson. Was Cam Smith the 4th?
And Cam Smith.
Yeah.
And then he
and then he kind of gave some wiggle room for
competitive, but
Neiman.
not quite like commercially relevant. And then he had DJ and Phil as commercially relevant, but not competitive.
Yeah.
And then he was like, kind of everybody else is just like, whatever. You could argue, but then like, Sergio and some other guys could get in on, kind of exemptions, top 50 career money list and stuff like that, but they're not really commercially relevant or competitive anymore. So it's
that's the thing. What is getting like reunifying the golf world look like? That's essentially what it looks like, is 4 or 5 of those guys showing back up to tournaments like the Players or Bay Hill.
Yeah,
right?
which is the question is, if I look at that list, Bryson, do I think Bryson wants to come back to the PGA Tour right now? I don't. I think he's probably someone that Liv has benefited, not just financially, but personally. I think that makes a lot of sense. Do I think Rahm would like to come back right now? Yes, I do. I'm sure that the bots will love that, but I think Rahm would love to come back. Brooks, I think, would like to come back. And Cam Smith, I would say no, probably. I don't. He seems to like the lifestyle change of this, but so that's only 2 of those 4 that I think you could. Where I'm going with that is the tour's next play a move to just get the 4 guys you want? Is that?
And you run the risk of pissing off Tiger and the other guys that stayed and all of that. My thing is, they sent out that statement on February 6th, which was like, hey, we went to the White House, we had a great meeting, we're closer than ever getting back together. And all that optimism, enthusiasm has gone out the door. And then now it's like, how much longer does it have to take for us to be bleeding this into 2026? And then we're talking about reunifying in 27 or reunifying in 28, because it's the same thing that we've heard about the schedule, right? Oh, the schedule is going to be totally different. Just wait, 2026 is going to be totally different.
Oh, I think 2026, reunification of how we're maybe picturing it, is already off the table. I think it's already too late for that. I mean, I would say 2027 is the earliest, which would mean almost 5 full years of.
So, Solid, though, when you say the tour going to get Brooks, let's use Brooks as an example. You think his 4-year contract up at the end of this year, they can't just offer him a contract.
No,
that's what the tour can't do. So how would you do that?
I don't know the answer to, but if it's, hey,
Enterprises can do more stuff than PGA Tour.
We'll give you equity
could, though.
back in this. It might not be equal to your equity in Smash GC, which I'm sure is worth so much money. He might have to pay. That's what we don't know what those live contracts look like. He might have to pay a massive penalty back.
Brooks, you want a TGL team?
That's where it's if Yasser's that hard to work with. Now, what this would also do is it reignites another war where Yasser can throw more money at other guys.
He starts picking off young guys,
and that is where Yasser's still got the tour by the balls of you got to do something, or else I bought John Rahm. I could buy the next guy if I wanted to,
or I could buy this great golf course and host, because I think that's the other big failing that Yasser's made, at least from a consumer standpoint. 2/3 of the golf courses have sucked. He's lacked taste, right? And I think that's a big piece, is he hasn't made a commercially relevant thing, versus I think if now that Jay can't play the card of you can't work with these guys because they're trying to work with him, that's out the window. He could probably sign up more and better golf courses than he could at first blush. So, and make it more of a global tour and say, all right, cool, gloves are off, we're going, so I don't know, because that then Adelaide's kind of the model, right?
You've got Liv's new CEO, Scott O'Neill. He's been saying all kinds of things. Solid. I know we didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he had an interview with Aussie Golf Digest. He said, I've had the privilege of having a couple conversations with Liz Moore, who's the interim LPGA Tour commissioner. She's going to join me in Miami, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we might contribute to the women's game. With Liv's introduction, we'd like to take all the good that we've learned and put that into practice. The women's game is one that we want to enter, which, God, why didn't they do that 3 or 4 years ago? That to me is the ultimate chess move for PIF and Liv. Man, hey, we're promoting the women's game. We're promoting equity amongst genders here with all that. That feels like a very powerful story for them to be telling, of like, hey, we're putting our money where our mouth is.
Yeah. And that's where I'm like, you called a chess game. I'm like, is that what they're playing? Like, again, like, what does that win look like for them? That's where
I mean, they could do that for the same price as like a John Rahm.
Oh no, totally.
Right?
Economically, that would make a ton of sense, and it would make more sense on the women's side than the men's side. But like, that's why I can't figure out what they want. I do not think their end goal is to spend billions of dollars on a golf league that no one is watching. But that's just. It's where that's like Neil said, it's the irrational actor at work of you can't figure you out, man. Doesn't make sense. So.
Which I'm glad that the LPGA is actually meeting with them as well, because I think that it's time for the PGA Tour and and DP World Tour to kind of step up and say, hey, we're gonna like Jay sold them out to dry when they did their media rights deal, and they tethered that onto the PGA Tour one.
I know that's where they could actually add value if they put them on Fox Sports, and you can actually watch, women's golf during a realistic time.
LPGA presented by the PIF, like, next to this corporate sponsor,
Yeah.
So
all could have been avoided with a meeting 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Next up, hole 3 of the back nine, which make it hole 12. Honda LPGA Thailand. Angel Yin, friend of the pod, wins by one over rookie Aki Iwa, who shot 11 under 61 in the final round. Made bogey on 17 as well. I believe she was a sponsor's exemption.
Made eagle on 18 though.
Made eagle on 18. Gino Titakum finished in 3rd place. 6 back of 2nd place. So it was a total 2-horse race. Patty T and Moria Jutanagarn finished tied for 4th in Thailand as well.
There's an aim point picture that's circulating, Solly, of Alim Kim. Did you see that?
I did, and I saw Meg Adkins tweeted the video of it. It's a lot less egregious of the video. It was like a 2-second. Alim Kim, stood over, aim pointed a putt that was not 18 inches. It was incredibly, incredibly short and should not be aim pointed, but it was extremely quick, and she got done a little dirty by. There are problems with aim point. That was a bad instance of it. I know you don't. I mean, it took her like 3 seconds to do that whole thing. I
heard there was some bad backstopping.
That I didn't catch a lot of this.
He's got sources in Thailand. He's got sources down in South America. He's got sources everywhere.
Yeah. Angel, I'm watching you, Angel. You got to clean some things up.
Well, we're pumped for Angel winning 28 under par overnight in Thailand. Didn't get to watch a lot of this one, but still, it's just an incredibly talented player that waiting for her distance to take over women's golf. Like I feel like it can and should at some point. Maybe this is the year that it happens.
Angel kind of feels like Big Tone, a little bit, right?
That's interesting. How many career wins is this for Angel now?
It's got to be like 4.
Let's see. This is only her 2nd win. She won the Buick LPGA Shanghai. She loves playing in Asia in the fall of 2023 in a playoff over Lilia Vu. This is her second win. She lost, of course, in a playoff to Lilia Vu in the Chevron in 2023. So that's what a lot of people may know her from. And from some of our videos and podcasts way back in the day. It's been 5 or 6 years now since we went and played with her at Hazeltine. Gosh. For the KPMG Women's PGA in 2019, I think it was. So that's still on our YouTube channel.
Yeah. Ladies are heading to Singapore this week. Good course, Sentosa. And then, did you guys catch the Q&A that Gabby Herzig did with Rose Zhang?
I did not.
It was she had some very pointed words to the outgoing commissioner, just about communication and some interesting stuff about balancing coursework at Stanford. Like she's taken, I think, 22 credit hours this semester, which seems like a lot anywhere, much less at Stanford. So, but yeah. And then I think LPGA is in Asia for, next week. And then I think they're back late March, kind of started up. So
another national open this week, TC on the DP World Tour, hole 13, the magical Kenya Open. Why do you love this tournament so much?
I mean, you flip it on and you got wildlife. It's kind of a short, funky golf course. It's always dried out. I don't know. It's kind of the romantic nature of the DP World Tour and watching the Euro Tour growing up. Of like where are they this week? Okay, cool. I'll watch a few minutes. So yeah, Cruiswick, I think is the name. He won by 2 over Englishman John Perry, who absolutely cleaning up in Africa over his last 6 months. Won in Mauritius, which is not technically Africa, off the coast of Africa at the end of last year, then finished T2 at the Dunhill down in South Africa. So they're heading, I think the DP World Tour is heading back down to South Africa this next week. And then they announced another tournament, actually. They had a TBA on the schedule, the Mission Hills Haiku What About China Championship on Hainan Island in China. So now they'll be back to back in China at the end of April. It'll be a What About China doubleheader.
The haiku. What about China?
God, we've been hit with a What
Has
About
a nice
China.
ring that rolls off the tongue. TC.
It's been 2 or 3 years since we've been earnestly hit with a What About China. I forgot. I honestly kind of forgot about that.
God, you remember when Captain Ron Price was just getting What About China?
Josh
in that
Hawley
Senate hearing.
Yeah.
I hope Captain Ron is enjoying his retirement.
I do too. That guy, man, he talk about a company man, just taking barrel fire. Unbelievable stuff.
While Jay's out fly fishing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Guys, the 14th hole. Sunday night pods are not great timing for TGL. It feels like this was a month ago, but there was a triple header on Monday at the TGL on President's Day. I was cringing when I looked at the schedule that I saw 3 matches on that Monday and 1 on Tuesday. I was like, guys, this is a 2-hour thing once a week. Like that's what you got. Guys, Monday was a banger. Listen,
Solly, I was watching it at lunchtime out on the slopes at Hell Roaring Saloon.
It was
at Whitefish.
Awesome.
It was awesome.
I mean, Atlanta Drive beat LAGC 6-5 in a shootout in the first match. JT chipped in to send it to a playoff. Then the overtime is great, by the way. Like penalty kicks, 3 closest to pin contests from like a 45-yard pitch. Tommy Hold won, and LA still ended up losing that one. Atlanta Drive got the win out of that one. They put the new hammer rules into play where each team gets 3 hammers to throw at any time that they want. Immediate impact. Like it helped Atlanta come back and it helped make that match really close and exciting. And like, I have my Jupe Links hat right here, and I am a massive Jupe Links fan, but like, you don't really actually know. It's going to take a long time, if it ever happens, for people to actually care about who wins and loses. But like, you want close competition and matches, and like all of the matches on Monday had it. Atlanta came back to play that. After that, they played the Bay. The Bay beat them,
and they were just too tired. They were. It's
a lot. It's a back-to-back.
The back-to-back was tough, man.
I tried to warn you guys about the Bay.
And the Bay is a problem. The Bay, and then the Bay flipped over and beat the Ball Frauds 5-4 on Monday night as well. So ratings were just okay, about 500K per. But obviously with the daytime stuff and the holiday, that was not unexpected, I guess. But I don't know. It's kind of
stuff when nothing else is on, except for maybe an NBA game or 2. Like, sign me up.
Yeah, it's truly for me the same thing. Like, great background. I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm feeling the electricity quite as much, but it's very inoffensive, unoffensive, whatever the proper term is there. Harmless, fun, great stuff. But listen, I don't know if I needed Monday and Tuesday. I was like, oh, it's on again. Like, okay.
Tuesday night match was a dud. I mean,
like
New York just freaking stomped my Jupe Links team, which I'm starting to get a little worried about.
Well, dude, Kisner extremely unhappy with the technology again.
It's a problem. It's rigged against us. I'm starting to believe that. I mean, I'm sure it's not. It's rigged against the small market teams.
I mean, he's not believing the ball flight. He's not believing the. He's like, man, I hit that one.
Team
good.
captain's
I swear
an
to
investor.
you, I hit that one good.
Yeah. Jupe Links is not looking great, and I'm not. Do you care at all about who wins any of these matches? Like, even fake care? I'm like kind of a bit.
I like to see Tom Kim lose.
Okay,
because he's so insufferable in these things, like so over the top.
Yeah, I think it kind of comes down to the matchup, Solly. Like,
yeah,
it just kind of. I'm with TC. Like, I kind of just. It's more like which individuals are playing, because you don't really know. There's 4 guys, but only 3 are playing, so you almost need to see who turns up for what team. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm rooting very hard for LA. The Bay, TC. I'm with you. My heart's in the Bay.
Which, I mean, what's going on in LA? They signed Big Tone. So we've got a double header tomorrow night, Monday night, LA versus New York. Big Tone signed to a 1 match.
See, I think
deal.
This is good, though. They should do more of this. Like, just decided to sign like any means possible. There's no rules to who's on your team during the season. You can just bring in ringers anytime you want. It's great.
It's typical Dodgers way of doing it. Just throwing money at a guy for 1 week when you got a little schedule complication. Us small market teams have no shot to compete with something like that. It's just really unfair. It's a
We
big.
got Boston versus Atlanta in the nightcap, and then Tuesday night we've got the Bay versus Jupiter. So that's a huge one.
So 5 o'clock p.m. is LA versus New York. It's Finau, Morikawa, Sahith against Cam Young, Fitzpatrick, and Ricky Fowler. I'm going to need LAGC in that one. We need New York to get taken back down a peg. And then the ball frauds.
We've got Rory versus Cantlay.
Yeah, we got Keegan, Hideki, and Rory against JT, Horschel, and Cantlay. So that should be a fun match. Are you feeling the second wind for TGL? Like I kind of thought
matchup dependent.
I kind of thought it was gonna peter out there, and man, I was just very surprised to it seemed like it had some very serious juice on that.
I don't know. I'm not really. I'm not setting my DVR. I don't know. Do people set DVRs anymore? I don't know if those exist, but I'm not. I could, if I'm home tomorrow night, yeah, maybe. But I could also probably fire up a movie.
I think the playoff pictures coming into view here. That's going to get interesting. And then, we've got the playoffs to look ahead to. I'm still in. I've been pretty steadfast on it, despite my incredulousness at some of the technology and some of the actual golf course design, which, by the way, Tiger did a golf course architecture contest. He entered a Golf Digest contest way back in the day. And he designed the sickest hole
when he was 11 years.
Yeah. They should put that hole in. They should absolutely. There's so much.
They can improve. Here. They can improve so much. Yeah. The whole designs could be so much more interesting. The gameplay can be so much more interesting. Technology could be better. They are improving. I mean, the hammer change mid-season was very legitimately fun change for the entertainment. And I have faith that they will. There's no reason not to. I mean, other than Tiger being sponsored or investor in full swing, which is a massive problem. But
I would say all that's what you just said, Solly, is true though. I think it's a solid foundation for. But there's some things to clean up for sure.
It's lasting. There's going to be a season 2. There's going to be a season 3. It's a real product, I guess.
All right, I'm skipping a hole because Neil said he's quitting after 90 minutes, and I want to make sure we get this one in. But I got a great DM from a guy, Joe Weiss or Weissy. I don't know how to say it. He said, just played on the winter package in St. Andrews, having pints with the guys. This is a great question. I'm going to make you guys guess it. And if you're watching on YouTube, I want to see in the comments, I want to see your guess on this answer. Before we give you our answers, pause it after I ask this and put your answer in. His question was, what do you think are fair odds on Spieth winning another major in his life? So I'm going to put you guys on the spot with that question. I'll tell you what my answer was, and then I have a little surprise for you.
God, I'm so freaking bad at these questions.
I know you are, which is why as soon as I knew you were going to be on the pod,
can it be a senior major?
It cannot be a senior major.
That's a great question.
It cannot be a senior major.
That's good interview technique. That's like the Google strategy. You start asking qualifiers. Buy time.
Odds of him winning another major in his life. Isn't that a great bar question, first of all?
I'll say plus 120.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
That feels too optimistic to me.
Wow.
I would say I was going to go between 500 and 1,000.
Wow.
I'll say plus 500.
Okay. My answer was plus 300. And I actually reached out to the folks at FanDuel and asked them to run this. They can't actually open this market. This market is not open, but odds of Spieth.
Because it would be indefinitely.
Well, no, they said over 20 years. They said it for over the next 20 years. Their odds were minus 250.
Really?
He will win another major.
Okay, then that makes my Nelly Korda winning 11 majors seem a lot better.
Absolutely not. What are you talking about?
I don't know. She's the number 1 golfer in the world.
We're talking about winning one more major.
Ollie, can you have him do it for Fleetwood?
I should have to do that next. So, I mean,
minus 200.
Well, I thought about this a little bit more after, kind of being put on the spot, same way that I put you guys on the spot. But I don't know what his current Masters odds are. I'm guessing 30-1, 35-1, something like that. If you play that out over 80 more majors, like that's about 2.5, 1 to 2.5 that you would win one. It's assuming the same chances of winning all of them. And there's
And he's back.
yeah, and if he comes
yeah,
back,
if he comes back and plays better,
yeah. So I was kind of with you on the plus side, but the more I thought about it, it was more on the minus
And
side.
Augusta,
That,
Augusta and the British Open are kind of
Yeah.
equalizers there as well.
Yeah, PGA is a little bit. I mean, I can't imagine something more fun though than playing St. Andrews, going into like the Dunvegan and having some pints and just arguing over Spieth's gonna fucking win a major. You got to give me odds. So I
think his odds to win another major are probably much lower than his odds to win the career Grand Slam. Right?
You'd pay a higher price
much
for that. Yes, it's much more likely that he wins another major than the career Grand Slam.
Correct.
Yes,
Yeah.
because you'd have so many less shots at it, and it's still just as
and the
competitive.
PGA just doesn't suit him as well either.
Yeah. Huh. That's a good explanation. So, did our friends at FanDuel, do they have? They don't do.
No, this was a total side thing. I asked
lines,
them if
they won't do it for like what? What's the time limit?
They're gonna throw it into an NFT.
20 years was their time.
No, I'm saying what did they tell you what their like time horizon is on like how long out they'll do a bet? Because they'll do like Super Bowl futures for the same season.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally was like, just this isn't official, but just give me like a number of what you would in theory set it at, and I was just surprised by all that process. So anyways, thought that was a fun one.
Very fun.
All right, next up, we had a Lucas Glover, Johnson Wagner, Rory McIlroy situation. I'm going to start with Johnson Wagner's original comments on this. I think this happened the week before, and we did not cover this last week. But
so you're just going to blow right through the 90 minutes, aren't you?
Well, you can leave. You said you're leaving at 90 minutes. What do you want me to do here?
Leave, Neil.
There's
I'll stick around.
Very quick ones after this. But originally, Johnson Wagner said this on Golf Channel. The fact that he's saying that so Rory had some comments like, we've all benefited. We've all made, I make a lot more money now than I did in 2019, blah, blah, blah. Johnson said the fact that he's saying that we've all benefited, he's just seeing things from a finite perspective, from his perspective. You know who hasn't benefited since all these things have gone on? The sponsors who pay all the bills. TV is down. Everything is down, yet they are being asked to pay more money. So good for you. I'm glad you're making more money than you were in 19, which was a ton of money. Also, he's telling everyone to get over it. Rory has said a lot of things over the past couple of seasons that have rubbed a lot of players the wrong way. Now he wants everyone to get over it. He's pushing for a small world tour. He's trying to get his way in every way. I'm a huge fan of Rory, but he's angering me right now. Those are the original comments.
Rory has said a lot of things.
Yeah, those are original. You guys want to react to that to that part before we get to the next part, or you want to keep going?
I don't think I find nothing wrong with that.
I think that like is very spot on from Johnson.
Well said.
Yeah. The only nitpick I would give is like, I feel like it is a comment from Rory on like, yeah, we've all benefited. He meant like all the players have benefited. And of all people that have had like a very fan first approach to this, I think I would classify Rory in that camp. And I do not think Rory is ignorant to the fact that a lot of other people are upset about all this stuff. It's kind of isolating one comment of Rory's. That'd be my one reaction to that.
I do think Johnson's acknowledging that like Rory doesn't have a ton of supporters in that locker room.
That is spot on. Like that's all accurate and all that. So Wagner addressed comments he made on Golf Channel. I think this is copied from Golf Week, but that apparently didn't sit well with McIlroy or his team. He was asked by host Taylor Zarzer if he had spoken with McIlroy. Wagner said, I'm going to say no comment on that. I have not physically spoken to him. Actually, I can't say no comment if I'm commenting. He emailed me Thursday night, and we've traded a couple of correspondences, but I have not heard back from him since the first one. I think his agent reached out to someone higher up at Golf Channel, and I guess the thing I said at the end of my rant was he's angering me. That's the only thing I'm sorry for. The rest of it, I stand by completely because I guess in this position, I need to take the emotions out of it a little better, and I'm going to try to do that going forward.
Super cool of Sean to reach out to Johnson's bosses at Golf Channel.
Yeah, I don't know if that rose
Comcast.
to the level of needing a reach out in that regard, unless unless it was like, all right, dude, you're kind of isolating this one section of what I've said here. Like maybe look at the bigger picture here, but still like kind of within the bounds of fair golf commentary.
That's shitty.
Yeah.
Well, the second statement from Johnson Wagner was also very well said.
And like if Johnson emailed him, like just let Rory respond or just pick up the phone, dog.
I guess Rory emailed first is what it sounded like that Rory had emailed. I don't know. still just going to end up turning into something that doesn't need to be is probably as big as it does. But
I just don't think Roy needs to get his agent involved. Just like keep it on a player-to-player basis, you know?
Yeah, and also don't really like. I'm just again going back through what Johnson originally said, man. It's like kind of spot on. Like,
well, then I guess then he and Lucas Glover talking about how, okay, Roy wants to build this world tour. Like, I don't know if what the opposite or the old school look, I guess, is what we kind of got this week at, Vidanta. You get Vidanta's world if the mules have it their way, where it's like not all. If we go back to the old way, you're not getting all the best players in the same spot. They're all playing a mishmash of different tournaments. So, like, I don't think that's a winning formula
Well,
either.
it's funny. I largely agree with Rory as far as like there needs to be less events. That everything's bloated. Like I agree with a lot of the stuff. I just think that him saying that everybody should like what's going on because they're making more money is there's less starts. Like should there be less starts? Yeah, probably. But if I'm one of the guys who's losing my starts, I probably don't love that. And for good reason, right? So I don't know. If I'm Rory, like I just say fuck it. Like I'm just gonna team up with the DP World Tour, call up Yasser and say, hey, let's just like why don't you just take over the DP World Tour and make a true World Tour?
TC investors.
I mean, that's what he should have done 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah. Again, what does he want? Second to last hole, penultimate hole. We did a little podcast this past week called Courses You Want to Play in 2025. This is a longer list than we're going to get to in 2025, but people seem way into it. What's kind of what's the most surprising feedback or kind of messages you guys have gotten on this one?
So many invites and just it's crazy. Emails, DMs, texts, people I haven't heard from in forever. A lot of Welsh people reaching out and really pissed at me that I said Saint Enodoc is in Wales. It's not. It's in Cornwall, and I pissed off I'm gonna piss them off again. The Cornwallians, the Cornwallers,
General Cornwallis.
I don't know there. And then a lot of people from Moortown reaching out, and a lot of people from All Woodley saying, "Hey, you got to come see us too." So all sorts of cool stuff to see. But I appreciate everybody, and I apologize for all my pronunciations. Just a blanket.
Yeah, I mean, really, truly, like heartwarming. Invites. It's like it's awesome and a little stressful. I want to make sure I gotta. Basically, what it made me get stressed out was I had to figure out my schedule. Like three of us, the NLU squad. I need to know where I'm going to be because it's like, hey, come play, and it's like you don't want to be like, yeah, sure, and then I don't know what week I could play. I don't know when I'm going to be out of town. So we need to figure that out, guys, so that I can act on some of those. Now, TC, couple things that stuck out to me. Kenyatta was bought by Escalante, so I'd still love to play there and hang out with Terry Hott, but it takes a little bit of the charm and mystery out of it that it's not like just owned by some guy and you got to call a guy who connects you with a guy and you get the course to yourself. But it still sounds like a very interesting place I'd like to see. People demanding a mea culpa from TC for saying that Glen Falls Country Club is near Cooperstown. TC, it's north of Saratoga.
Leatherstocking is near. All of upstate New York is just
not in the Cooperstown area.
Glens Falls in Leatherstocking. I need to see both of them.
People were just fuming about that. TC.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Solly, we got like 6 or 7 invites to Marion. We got all. It's great. Like we got to choose who's going to take.
Listen to the C-suite out here. Unbelievable.
It's all like this was the worst year ever for me to do this pod. It's like, hey, you want to come? Yeah, dude. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Like it's tripling, quadrupling down on my FOMO of getting out and seeing some places. But heartwarming to hear from so many people in the golf community that can help make a lot of these things happen. We'll bring the content from them. That's kind of the. Yeah. That's
maybe I think a pod format that we can keep iterating on. Get some others involved.
Different topics or different sandboxes.
Did we act on anything? That's it's exciting.
Yeah. Bob Parsons, if you're listening,
get him out to the Bad Little Nine.
Possibly you.
The White Oak stuff has been the most fascinating to hear from people that have gotten to play that course north of Jack's.
You've talked to somebody who's played it?
Oh, I've gotten so many emails of just like, oh yeah, a friend of a blah, blah, blah. Here's what's happened. Like, this was before this happened though, and now you can't get out there, and they do like 17 rounds a year, and it's
The die course you're talking
the
about,
die
not
course.
the
The die course.
not the old 9-holer.
The die course, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all very interesting. But all right, final hole. TC put this on here. I'm so glad you did, because I got emailed the Live Media Guide, and for some reason I was at my computer and I read through it, and they ask every player on it like a bunch of questions, and I got so captivated reading all of the Live players' favorite holes in golf. Like, so many votes for number 12 at Augusta. I need to go through and just like tally up all the votes for all the
You should
holes.
do a big grid.
Yeah. I might need to do that. And the one that stuck out to me the most was Brooks Koepka said his favorite hole in golf is the 18th at Royal Greens in Jeddah, or King Abdullah Economic City, as it should be called. And I know he's won there, I think, multiple times, but it's one of the most preposterous answers to any question ever made.
I pulled these straight off the club website, the Honorable Company.
If you're watching on YouTube, we're
King
putting
Abdullah Economic City
a couple
golfers.
images of the hole up there. It looks like the 18th hole of every course on the DP World Tour, by the way. Just every single one has a par 5 that looks.
I think it was designed by European Tour, like golf design.
That would make
European
a
golf
lot of
design.
sense.
Yeah.
It is a hole with water, a fairway, and a green. Like, there's just absolutely nothing unique about this hole at all. But it's.
I got to think that Brooks, maybe he did this Q&A while he was at Royal Greens, and it was like, I don't know, man,
That
the
one.
18th hole here.
That one right
like
there.
That.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's the best.
Just
possible
maybe he
explanation.
just didn't feel like doing the Q&A.
That's the best one. So that's going to do it for this week's pod. If you do not want to miss a single piece of NLU content, one of the easiest ways to keep up is to sign up for the weekly digest. So every Tuesday, a weekly roundup of content hits your inbox, along with some fun behind-the-scenes content and weekly reader responses section. Also, our longer form Friday newsletter is going to be ramping up as well. We have some content exclusively for newsletter subscribers in the next few weeks. You can sign up for both at newsletter.nolayingup.com. Do that. It's always pleasant stuff that's hitting your inbox in there, and we greatly appreciate it.
Doing a lot of work on the newsletter.
So
lot of good stuff happening on that side of the house. And listen, we might have a special Strap Boys podcast next Sunday, and we're sourcing some voicemails, guys. We want to do a little mailbag episode, and we've updated the listener line. It used to be exclusively the Trap Draw listener line. We now have 2 mailboxes. Call 1-833-330-8725 and press 1 for the NLU voice mailbox. If you'd like DJ, the big man, and I to answer your question, maybe we will, maybe we won't, but that's 1-833-330-8725.
Press 1 for the NLU
Press 1
mailbox.
There's instructions once you get there. You just press. And if you want to leave something for the ball knowers, press 2.
That is
Really?
exciting.
Oh, yeah.
We should set up a separate ball knowers.
No, it's the Trap Draws 2, NLU Pods 1. So what else we got?
We got a KVV narrative pod on Calvin Pete is dropping this week. I know he's been working hard on that one. I cannot wait to listen to that one. It sounds like a character that lived an absolutely fascinating life. And KV's talked to a lot of people that knew him and bringing his story to life. So,
and if you're a newsletter subscriber, you know we do have a Pro Shop promo going on. Spend $75 in the Pro Shop, get a free FootJoy winner beanie. TC, one of your favorite products in the Pro Shop right now is it's subtle NLU branding, but nice warm beanie. I gave one to my father-in-law. He complimented. He said this is a good quality piece of merch. So add the items to your cart. Including one of the FootJoy beanies. There's 2 different colors you can choose from. Enter code FREEZING, all caps, freezing. It is freezing up here in New York. At checkout, and the beanie will be free. You can't combine it with no stacking codes.
Do
people.
not stack codes.
We're not stacking codes. That includes the Nest discount. Offer expires at the end of the day on Sunday, March 2nd. So you got some time. Yeah. And then that's store.nolayingup.com. Get involved.
And we got some roosts that are starting to get active in parts of the country where the weather is cooperating. We had the NYC Roost kickoff party at Gowanus Golf Club. Am I saying that right, Neil?
You are. That's the neighborhood simulator that I'm a member at. I've been grinding at. So NYC, the Royal and Ancient Company of Dishonorable Golfers, the NYC chapter, got together for a little kickoff party. We did a little close to the pin. little raffle. It was fun. It was really fun. God, they got I get my schedule dialed. We got the Shepherd Open, the majors at Marine Park this year.
If you could go double crook.
I know. I got my staff here. I'll show you.
Or your staff. Sorry, not your crook.
Staff, my Shepherd's Open staff still have my favorite trophy. Trying to get that back this year. Also, TC signed up for the I'm getting in the season-long match play in the New York Roost as well. But Lake Effect, Western New York, our newest Roost. They're doing some stuff in the snow. We got Fresh Coast Flock doing the same thing. Big Plex had a big event this weekend. Palmetto Golf Society down in South Carolina. They had an event yesterday as well. And then you got the Dry Heat Golf Club. That's Southwest, like Arizona and New Mexico. They're hosting their Roost Major on March 9th. If you want to know if there's space in these events, if you want to plan your schedule out or find a Roost, you can do so at events.nolayingup.com. Get involved, people.
And just one more plug for the newsletter. Just go sign up for the newsletter. We're going to be doing more kind of exclusive content to the newsletter. That'll be just as social media gets more and more fragmented. It's the best way to keep up with NLU. Neil, how can people sign up for the newsletter?
Newsletter.nolayingup.com.
Cool. Love it. All right, that's going to do it for our show this week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. For TC, Neil, H&B, The Stack, BMW, Titleist. Who else am I forgetting in there? I think that's all of it.
Benjamin
Salinas. Yeah, Grupo Salinas.
And all of our listeners and all of our staff and all of our team. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you back here next week. Cheers.